Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Stevie with us, Juls and Robbo as well to answer some of your questions. It was interesting, ESPN FC showed a clip of Madueke being asked which of the players were most likely to sit next to their coach at lunch, and it was Saka and Odegaard. And I'm just wondering, of our lot, who would be that player? And Robbo's got to be close, isn't it? Robbo's got to be closer, you know, being nice to the coach, sucking up a bit.
Depends who the manager was.
Yes.
Yeah, depends who the manager was.
Well, you hit one of them, didn't you? So that's not bodes well.
Yeah. It wouldn't be Bobby Gould.
He was the coach at the time. It wouldn't be Bobby Gould, and it wouldn't be Phil Neal, and it probably, that would be about it. Terry Butcher I got on well with, Terry Neal I got on very well with, and Don Howe I got on very well with.
Oh, there you
George
go.
Graham, not quite so well, but that didn't last very long, so yes. Probably they'd come and sit next to me rather than the other way around.
Well,
that's what I said
interesting,
anyway.
because I was thinking, Stevie, did you notice it when you were a coach? Players trying to be a bit teacher's petty, kind of coming to sit next to you, coming to chat to you more or anything like that?
No. Most people didn't want them sat next to them.
Yeah.
Because they would get that tag.
Yes. Oh yeah.
So most people would stay at the road.
Oh, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Jules Gabb would be sat right there at the top, wouldn't he, telling the coach what to do?
He would actually take, you know, when you pull the chair out for the guy to sit, like to make sure he's right by him. He said, "Here you go. I even put the chair for you to be comfortable." You know,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
What
Who would survive the longest on a reality TV show? Wow, what reality TV show we're going? Robbo would be terrible at all of these things, I think, because you don't really get on with people, Robbo.
Yeah, I would. I'd get on with the people and I'd be all right, but I wouldn't get on with the snakes and spiders and Island Celebrities or something like that.
Okay, if we put you in a jungle, Survivor,
what are the ones you're talking about? No, I wouldn't like that either. I might do a cooking one. I'd be all right on that. I'd do okay on that.
Oh yeah, a bit of MasterChef.
If you remember, I beat Frank Leboeuf, didn't I, in the last year's croissant making competition?
You did. What about Dancing with the Stars, Robbo? I can't remember if I've seen you dancing.
What? You have seen me dance once, and I saw you dance. You got told off for taking the mickey when we were in Ukraine, and we had to do the national dance.
Yeah, that was good fun actually. That was very good. Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, but
Stevie,
you got told off for taking the mickey out of it.
I get told off everywhere. At home, at work. It doesn't take much.
Shaka would be the man.
What?
Like anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Shaka would just...
Shaka just has to be Shaka.
Yeah, but they wouldn't even notice Shaka. He would just blend in and just be there, and they would get to the end and it'd be like...
Very likeable.
Shaka wins.
Yeah, no, that's true. You'd be all right Dancing with the Stars, Stevie. I've seen you.
I would have been... my hips are good.
Yes, that's true. Masked Singer, you'd be good at.
I'd have a go at that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm with Robbo though, with the jungle.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Well, there's no mince in the
No,
jungle.
there's no mince.
Shepherd's pie.
No, no shepherd's pie.
I think that could be a big no.
I think Dan.
Yes.
Dan, I think we saw Stevie as a masked singer that time in Spain, didn't we? When
he was beautiful.
Tottenham and Liverpool
that's
played
when
in
he
the
was
Champions
singing
League
"You'll Never Walk
final.
Alone" at 6 o'clock in the morning at karaoke. Those are the good.
But he had a mask on at the time.
Jules, would you ever be... Jules, you're on enough TV shows. You don't need any more, do you?
No, although as you know, in England there's a very popular show now called The Traitors. I don't know if you have it in the US or not, but I wonder from the team who make the best traitor. So the guy who lies in your face, making you believe he's your friend, he's a faithful, and actually he's lying and stab you in the back. I don't know. Burley probably would be a great traitor.
I don't know.
No.
He wouldn't be able to not tell everyone.
No.
Shaka again would be
Shaka's the man.
Because you would not think of him at all.
No, he'd never a traitor.
No, exactly.
And then
Robbo wouldn't like it, living in a house with other people.
Yeah,
angry.
that would be
They
good.
haven't cleaned it properly.
Yeah, Shaka's cruising here, isn't he?
You're painting a very bad picture of me, Dan. Very bad picture.
It's true. If people hadn't cleaned up or done their washing up or left some food out, that would get you going.
Oh, yeah, I'd have a go at them for that. Yeah, I'd tidy up after them. You'd make sure they, wash the taps and clean the bath and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Get all the hair out the plugs.
Well, it's not Robbo.
Yeah.
Right, there we go.
Absolutely.
Robbo.
No, I wouldn't. No.
Robbo, rank these following wing pairings on the basis of their current form. Martinelli Saka, Diaz Elise, Rafinha Yamal. Oof.
Every time I'd have to go, because I see them a lot, Rafinha, Yamal, when they're on form, and I think they have been on form in recent weeks. Rafinha wasn't very good in midweek in the Champions League, and obviously Yamal was suspended. But those two players have turned Barcelona into such an attacking force. They can score at will almost at times. That's not why they don't win as many games as they should. Every so often they concede bad goals. But as a front pairing in the wide areas, they have been magnificent for a year and a half. So I'd go with them.
And then second and third?
I like them all, but the Saka and Martinelli, because I'm not a great fan of Martinelli. I love Saka. I thought he was, again, brilliant against Inter, but they'd be at the bottom. And the Diaz-Olise pairing, because they're in the Bundesliga, they score so many goals and create so many goals against some weaker sides at times, but I'd have to put them in second.
Jules, where would you go?
I think right now in the current form and the form this season, I think Luis Diaz and Michael Olise have been the best, really. And it should be Trossard and Saka, not really Martinelli and Saka either from the Arsenal point of view. So I will go first with Diaz and Olise, then Rafinha and Lamine are second, and then I'll have Martinelli and Saka third.
I'm with Robbo.
Yep.
Yep, Rafinha, Yamal, and then Diaz, Olise.
Now, we discussed this a bit. It turned into a bit of an argument between you and Craig regarding the strength of the Premier League and whether or not Arsenal, Liverpool, Spurs, Newcastle and Chelsea are all in the top 8 of the Champions League. So does this reflect the relative strength of Premier League sides in Europe? The kind of edge to this question, Jules, was the discussion as to whether or not the Premier League has got stronger and therefore that is evidence in the Champions League. But obviously the flip side of that isn't that it hasn't been as entertaining as late.
Yeah, I think it's a great debate, and we've said it many times on the show, and I really believe it. This is not a very good Premier League season. Last season was not a very good Premier League season either, outside of Liverpool. This season, probably outside of Arsenal, and I know City and Villa are not far, but I don't think it's a vintage season at all. I don't think the quality is there, and yeah, maybe teams are trying to control things more, but there's stats that are really strange. For example, we've never had in the history of the Premier League so few goals from number 9, from strikers. Goals don't come from number 9s, nowhere, not just Arsenal, but any other team in the Premier League. And yet the Premier League is still by far the best league in Europe. That's why their teams are doing so well in the Champions League, because, by the way, the other leagues are not that great either. If you take Bayern away from the Bundesliga, it's not great. In France, if you take Lens out, even PSG and Marseille, it's not that great. In Italy, it's not that great. And as we've seen in Spain, Villarreal somehow were second from bottom in the Champions League. If they beat Real Madrid tomorrow, they're 4 points behind, and if they win the game in hand, they're a point behind Real Madrid. So I think it shows that everywhere the level hasn't been that great this season. That doesn't mean that the leagues are not fun to watch. There's still good games, but overall I think the quality is not very much there.
Is there an argument to say, Robbo, that the lower teams have got better players now, are better coached, are better organised, so therefore it's harder to break them down and maybe the games aren't as entertaining?
Yeah, and there's also a theory that a lot of the teams down at the bottom don't really come out and play. They want to make it as difficult for as you understand, for the big teams as they possibly can. So you don't see a free-flowing game. I mean, I watched a game between Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest, and I used the disgusted by the way Nottingham Forest played the game. I think they only had about 20% possession. They hardly got out their half, and the manager at half-time, when it was 0-0, was really happy with it. They eventually lost the game. But that can't. But the fans that go to those games cannot be pleased with what they're seeing from their team. They need to see their team being more adventurous. They need to think that their team have got a chance of somehow winning the game.
It's all about survival, though, isn't it, Robbo? It's all about keeping that Premier League money.
Of course. Yeah, but I think you've also got to. You can do that by attacking teams as well. As long as you keep your structure at the back, you've got to cause other teams problems. You've got to cause the big teams problems. You've got to have some sort of fluidity going forward. Otherwise, you can't just rely on defensive quality and keep getting point here and there, because that'll get you down anyway.
Stevie, do you believe that the next season we might see the best versions of Wirtz, Ekitike and Kerkez? They're already looking much better than when they arrived at Liverpool. I think much better.
I hope so.
Of a stretch.
I hope so, because, well, I mean, I think you can take Ekitike out of there, but yeah, I mean, you'd have to think that between now and next season, Arne Slot in particular figures out the best place for people like Wirtz. And obviously Isak when he comes back. So, yeah, I mean, there's not been an awful lot to talk about so far with all of them. So, yeah, it has to be better next year.
Final question, Jules. Casemiro is now officially leaving Manchester United this summer. Which realistic and budget-friendly non-Premier League top midfielder would you recommend to replace him? Wow.
I mean, I'm not really sure what budget-friendly means. There's no, if you want a world-class midfielder, that doesn't exist. You're not going to get a world-class midfielder for 20 or 30 million pounds. It's impossible. If you want to go and get Elliot Anderson, for example, who's the one outstanding, really, that I think would improve this United team straight away, for example, that could play well with Mainu or somebody else next to him, that will cost you at least 80 million. But that's the value. It's not, you would not overpay. I think this is the value for a player like him. If you prefer Carlos Baleba, although he's not having a season as good as the one he had last year or the one that Anderson has, for example, again, it will still cost you a lot of money. Same with Adam Wharton. If you want that quality, you'll have to pay for it. So I think all three are realistic for United. I think they should be the targets, and I believe they are the targets. It's just down to if they have the money. And if they want to spend that money on one player, that will cost you a lot, but can make a difference, as we saw with Rice and Arsenal, for example.
That's it. Robbo, what are you doing this weekend? What games you got for us?
I'm doing Villarreal versus Real Madrid tomorrow night.
Yeah, it should be a good one, of course. Top of the table clash, as Jules mentioned before. Jules, which games are you going to?
Arsenal United on Sunday.
And we know what you'll be doing, Stevie. Continuing your auditions for Dancing with the Stars.
Correct.
Of course, you were trying out earlier today. There he is. There he goes.
Amazing.
I don't know why you said that. There he goes. Oh, yes. Beautiful.
It's got win all over it, hasn't it?
I think so.
It's got win all
You would
over
certainly get our vote. You do better than Frank.
Well, let's face it, they do bring in one old geezer every year, don't they?
Yes, they do.
So I could be that old geezer.
I think so. Let's get that campaign going now,
get
Stevie.
that,
Most
get
definitely.
That statue in.
That is it then. We will return tomorrow to reflect on Villarreal against Real Madrid and everything else that's going on across Europe.